Hello. Next up, we have dedicated spaces. Okay, so I want you to start making a place for everything. In the restaurant business, we'd always say everything, where does the sour cream sleep? Where does the hot sauce sleep? Right? Everything needs to have a place. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else except for you. And it needs to be very intuitive. I'm all about round living, living on round time, which means my sleep schedule, whether I'm awake or whether I'm not, I can wake up in the middle of the night and not feel like I have to get back to sleep because I know that, okay, I'm awake. It might be a full moon. It might be a new moon. It might be, the moon is in an air sign and it's just going to be insomnia. So I can try and put a bunch of medication in my body and all this other stuff and get nothing done, or I can just roll with it and then work and then get a couple hours done and then go back to sleep, right? So I have learned to live intuitively from my central nervous system. That's what works for me. And that's why I work so hard to protect my peace. And I continue to do so. And as I, go through this journey, I just want to share with people that as you go through, getting over trauma, right? Recognizing things, learning how to self-soothe, all of these things, all of these exterior uh, interruptions, right? Regardless of whether you're highly psychic or highly sensitive like HSP, which is an actual condition, or just noise sensitive. Perhaps you're on the spectrum. There's all sorts of things, right? Or just temperature or skin, or we all have an Achilles tendon. We all have our kryptonite, right? So with me, when it comes to dedicated spaces, I try and even, as I travel, I always make sure that if I'm in a room that I have like one suitcase that's dedicated to just, it's like my toy box. All of my fun stuff is in it. My hair is in it. Any, costumes, not that I have a bunch, but I have a couple, and any of my cards, all that other stuff, right? Like my fun stuff is in one certain bag. And then I have another one, which is, so I just make sure that everything, so that even when I'm tired, right, I can just throw my stuff towards that bag and it's at least nearer to that place than just having it all over and having to rummage through piles, right? So even when it comes to like silverware, I can't do the little slot things. It just doesn't work for me. But if I have a bigger bin, right, like three bigs, like where the knives are obviously there, and I can do that. And if it's okay for all the spoons of all the sizes to go into that one spoon, that makes me feel so much better. Or else I'll just leave stuff laying around or won't even undo the dishwasher, right? Also taking the amount of dishes that you have, right? Just going down to like one really beautiful set that is beautiful and it's actually so pretty that it makes you want to wash it and clean it. And then you only have four plates, right, that you have to wash, and then the rest just go ahead and get some paper plates, right, and make things easier on yourself, right, until you can get to a point where maybe you can't afford someone to come in like bi-monthly and clean up for you, and then you just kind of keep up with it, right? Pavarotti should continue singing the opera. He should not be trying to run the 100-yard dash, right? We should try and get, at least the things that we're mediocre at, we should at least know how to somewhat manage, to do things like, being able to address a stamp or balance a checkbook or something like that. But if you're not great at math, there are people that are more than willing to help you out for $5 on Fiverr. Oh my goodness, that's the hack right there. If you need help with something, even grant writing, go in there, put $5. There are people that want to get started and want to help you out, right? And if you need help vetting people, because that's what I do, I vet, because there's a lot of scammers on there, right? People that are like, all over, you don't know anything like that. And I've had a couple of people run a little scam and I'm like, I could just pull cards on them. So that's what I do now. And I've had so much better luck. So I can definitely help you out. You can definitely DM me or email me and say, hey, can you help me out? I've got like 4 or 5 people that I'm looking at and I can, throw me a couple of bones and we can definitely work it out, because that's actually that's probably my strongest suit is character assessment, remotely. So if you got to hire or fire or anybody like that, or if you need to know which uncle is diddling the children, yeah, just come my way. Mm. The mug is back for all of my oldies but goodies. The mug is back. Okay, so yes, finding a place for your things to sleep that are comfortable. Like I said, if you are, I'm trying to give you examples because, for me, I do the bags and the bins, and I label the bins and I label the bags, and I may have them lined up. But if I need to clean up the room, all I have to do is zip them up and throw them in a laundry basket and throw them in the closet. Right. So having everything out where I can just throw it or get it close to it. And then it's really quickly to just like, oop, zip it up and then throw it. So again, it's thinking about what's going to make your life easier, but also knowing that when it gets so much. I'm telling you, once you get into the flow with it and you're not even traveling around and having to deal with different spaces like I am, right? You're in your own home, right? So it gets so easy that it'll just be, muscle memory where you're throwing this over here and you're like banging this and it'll feel so good to like know where something goes. And if you start acquiring things like maybe you're selling or something like that and you start getting pins everywhere or whatever, go on, and just ADHD sewers and stuff, they'll get you the magnetic mats and all of the things, because we can be, right, because we are so the neurodivergencies, the girlies and all the other whatever Uzis. We definitely, because we have that creativity thing going, the other stuff goes out the window, but that is a superpower. And as long as we're like not hurting the people around us and creating systems for ourselves, which is kind of like the nobody wants to hear a system, but actually if you broaden the things, we're not like, get this planner with these tiny little lines in it that you every day I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and I'm like, I just want to do what I want, and you just end up like, I day drink all day, right? But what if you had a fun way of tracking? You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with tracking, because that's where we start getting into accountability, and accountability is lovely, but you also have to get through that procrastination, assassination of yourself because of the anticipation and all of the things, and really it's just simplifying things and turning in the tiny, tiny increments. So thank you for hanging with me. If you've been here this long, I do want to let you know my road opener recipe. You can get it in candle, oil, amulets, locket form, spray, salt scrubs. Yeah. This is the Four Horsemen after Revelations. It's a road opener. It is not for the faint of heart. It definitely packs a punch. It is definitely one that so exposes hidden truths, uncovers evidence, and reveals leverage. So this is definitely something I burn when I'm doing like my investigative reads. But I am very careful with it, because sometimes even with me, I don't even want to know like what's coming up. Seriously. So like I said, it's not for the faint of heart, but if you want to know what's going on around you, that is your ticket right there. And that's got a guarantee on it. Like I said, that's probably the only one I don't want to guarantee. Not even my money one, I guarantee it. But this one is because people get mad when they find out what's going on behind the scenes. It's definitely, got that scorpionic. Yeah, it's a gnarly blend. So anyways, yeah, thank you so much. Catch you on the flip. I think there's other things that I want to tell you and other things that I want to direct you to, but I just want to make this short, sweet, to the point, and keep on pumping out some content. All right, bye.